Yeah, it looks like Kissing's just now sending a bunch of probes over to her third base, and it looks like she actually placed some turrets in the mining path for that second
Oh, look at
assimilator.
that.
So
Yeah.
those probes are actually going to have a hard time making their way from the assimilator over to the Nexus for that third base. So we may see a decrease in gas production when she decides to move probes over there.
Looks like Shaka is going to go ahead and throw down his expansion on the high yield. If he can take and secure this high yield, but Kissing's coming up to try and deny that. If he can take and secure it, that's definitely going to be a hard nail right there at that coffin, trying to shut Kissing out of this game. But it looks like she's going to get just close enough to start doing some harass on it. Shaka pulled back his troops a bit, trying to keep them safe, maybe not exactly wanting to go for an attack. Maybe Kissing has a larger force, but it looks like she managed to get it and denied that fourth expansion high yield from Shaka. And she's just going to walk right up towards the natural expansion. I don't know if I'd push in this far if I were her.
Oh, it looks like Shaka's actually coming around the backside trying to get those High Templar. High Templar do throw storms down, but those High Templar just went down way too fast. Only 2 storms got off. And I think Shaka's going to be able to do a lot of damage to this army. But no, Kissing actually gets a good position with those Stalkers, gets the Zealots over there on the Roaches, and was able to actually clean this army up. It looks like it's going to actually do some harass on this natural expansion. We've got 2 Zealots back in the mineral line and a High Templar sitting there, not able to do a whole lot because it's completely out of energy. But actually we have 2 Ultras coming in and hitting these Stalkers from behind. And more Stalkers coming up. I mean, they're doing a lot of damage to these Ultras. These Ultras are just tearing through these armored Stalkers. A couple of more Roaches actually joining in the battle. And looks like it's actually going to be able to push Kissing all the way back.
Yeah, that was definitely some excellent timing on those Ultras reinforcements, to say the least. If Shaka had lost this natural expansion, even though it's fairly well mined out, that would definitely have done some damage. But it looks like down here at the bottom, Shaka is moving in to hit some of the units that Kissing was setting forth to harass his fourth expansion. 1 Ultra goes down, trying to snipe the second. Managed to get down the Hydras. Zealots go down. 5, 6, 7 Stalkers pushing away, trying to just snipe that Ultra, and they succeed. 3 Hydras left, 4 or 5 Stalkers, and now they are pushing her back, or pushing him back, and the Stalkers take the tower. They turn around, try and do some damage, but the Stalkers keep pushing forward. Kissing needs to pull back. She's done enough damage. Needs to secure the spot that she has on the map, but she instead decides to move forward, gets caught off position by that Ultra, who is in turn going to snipe all of the Stalkers.
That's very, very true. Very, very true. And it looks like we actually have more Zergling reinforcements coming in. So it looks like that's going to be very true. So looks like this third base is quite populated. We've actually got Kissing actually has 50 probes versus the 27 drones that Shaka has, so she's definitely in the economic advantage.
I'm sorry to interrupt you really quick, Chaotic, but we have 3 Zealots sitting in the fourth expansion of Shaka's base. They were doing some damage to the drone line, but then Shaka sent a great deal of Zerglings in, killed the Zealots. Now Archons are coming in, get the Zerglings surround on the Archons, and they are all but one going to get destroyed. That Archon is now sitting there alone in the fourth base,
We've got
doing some damage.
We got a hero Archon who's going to try to take out this entire hatch by himself. But we have an Ultralist, several Ultralists moving in. I think 5 Ultralists versus 1 Archon, the Ultralists win. I could be wrong.
It shouldn't, but it does. It does indeed. Especially when they're more upgraded.
That's very true. And it looks like those 5 Ultralists are moving down and catching a couple of more units, just a little bit out of position, away from the rest of the ball. And it looks like they're actually going to move down here to this Kissing's third expansion and just eating through those turrets. But those turrets are doing a lot of damage to those Ultralists. And it looks like it's actually going to shut down the power to the turrets, and those probes are just going to get, eaten alive.
Looks like those probes for a brief moment tried to escape through this area where the rocks are sitting down, but I guess Kissing accidentally forgot to take out these rocks that the probes would have a place to escape to, so all they have to escape into are the jaws of the Ultras, who just took down the third expansion. They are now fighting the Archons, who look like they're going to be able to mop all this up. Kissing went ahead and dropped her expansion again, trying to get it back up as soon as possible, because currently we have Kissing sitting on 1 mined out main, a second almost mined out natural, no third expansion, and Shaka comfortably on 4 expansions, or 3 expansions, 1 main.
That's very true. We got 4 base against really 1 base right now, because there's not a whole lot left in Kissing secured bases. But she is taking out these rocks. That 3rd expansion is coming back up, and we're doing a whole lot of long distance mining right now. So Kissing's kind of running way behind. Still has 40 probes, but 40 probes is only useful if they have something to mine from.
Exactly. I will say though, definitely props to Kissing's Blade, because she just took out this 4th expansion by sending in some Zealots, some Archons, and it looks like Shaka, only having Zerglings on his side, decided not to go in and try and stop that. For being only on 1 mineable base, Kissing is doing an excellent job at keeping the pressure on, making sure Shaka can't get any farther than he is right now, and she just got her 3rd expansion back up, putting her back in this game most certainly.
That's true, and it looks like when it comes down to the income tab, Kissing is just now catching up and starting to exceed Shaka in income. So, I mean, she is going to be able to get herself up a decent force here, and it looks like she's trying to keep that creep spread back, so maybe she can actually take that gold.
I always have to say I absolutely love watching Terran and Protoss walk across Zerg creep and just snipe all the tumors with either a Raven or an Observer, because just for me, it's like watching someone take a can of paint to a Picasso. It's just, look at all this work you did and watch me as I destroy every bit of it.
That's very, very true. And it looks like she's again going to try to take this left-hand expansion, and we got a couple of Archons in the midst. They're actually going to be able to take a whole bunch of damage if Shaka decides to engage this force, but I don't think he's actually going to engage it. I think he's just going to pull all those drones back to the natural, and he's actually now on 2 bases.
You know, Chaotic, I don't know about you, but I think Kissing certainly took this game back. She was, I mean, as we just said, she was sitting on 1 mineable base, and now she has just put Shaka in the same position that he was in not 5 minutes ago. He is sitting on an even more mined out natural than she was a few moments ago, is having to do long distance gas mining. Ooh, this is just not a safe place right now. Not a safe place at all for Shaka.
That's very true, but you know, when you look at the Army tab, it's 114 to 99. Kissing's ahead by a little bit, but I mean, I have to think that that's actually a lot of that is just probes.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to jump over the unit. Oh, look, giant battle going on right here in the middle. Kissing is trying to come around her harass on the side. Looks like the Ultimus and the Zerglings came up right beside her. The Zerglings got the quick surround onto the Ultimus to come in and do some damage. And sniping at the Archons, tearing down the Stalkers, destroying the last Archon. There's still 3 Ultimus left, and those Stalkers don't stand a chance. Looks like Shaka just took his position back, managed to take out Kissing's army. We're now sitting at a units tab of 65, 79, and if we jump over and look, we have 44 probes, 37 drones. So we're not too different as far as drones are concerned in the units, but if we jump up here into Shaka's base, Kissing's throwing her Phoenix around, doing a little bit of harass, maybe getting some scouting in to try and snipe the Overseer.
That's true, and Shaka's really down to about 3 Ultralists and a Hydralisk. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot out there, but those Ultralists, I mean, you get a Queen transfusing those things, and they can be absolutely beefy, and he still has plenty of Queens left.
Yes, he does. It looks like one's coming out right now. Drops is trying to transfuse all of the Ultralisks that have been damaged. That's a smart move. The Queens... Those Queens of his still have quite a bit of energy. It looks like Shaka's also throwing down his expansion on the high yield to get his spot back. And Kissing just pushed her forces out to the rocks at her high yield, so maybe she's thinking about taking that position again.
That's very true. But it looks like mainly she has Archons and Zealots in this army, which I actually kind of like this composition against Ultralisk. You can get the Zealots charging in there with the surround, and Archons taking the damage. So, and unless Shaka decides to focus fire down these Zealots, she could actually stay in the battle for quite a long time.
Yeah, and the Overseer's sitting, or sorry, the Observer's sitting right here over the Zerg army, which is now pushing out. Kissing sees it, knows it's coming, can pull back, get a better position. She's letting her Zealots charge in a little bit out of place, but looks like they're going to engage anyway. The Zealots are sitting there hacking away at the Seedlings. Ultras are doing a great deal of damage to that one Hydra sitting behind the the Archons are sniping down at these Overlords, but it looks like Kissing is going to be a little bit outnumbered as far as troops are concerned. You can get to the other Ultras, only 2 left, but 1 Archon left, 2 Ultras, 1 Hydralisk. Archon goes down, and Shaka denies Kissing that high yield expansion, and now Shaka's high yield is up and ready to go.
That's very true. It looks like Kissing's actually moving out here with a small force of Zealots to try to secure that attack lane again. It's actually moving out past this rightmost Xel'Naga watchtower. I guess she's planning on doing a little counterattack here. A little counter push, and yeah, she actually does charge in with the Zealots. It looks like it's going to take out one of those Ultralisks. It looks like the Queen's actually actively transfusing the other Ultralisks. The Zealots do get a surround on one of the Queens, but it looks like he's actually going to be able to pull on back before taking out the rest of those Zealots. Actually, he's moving that Ultralisk back over. The Zealots are trying to do a little bit. It looks like that Ultralisk is actually going to catch a couple of those off guard, and that Queen is just going to transfuse that Ultralisk, and there's not much Kissing can do about that with just 5 Zealots. There's 5 Zealots with very little health left.
Looks like Kissing went ahead and placed her 4th expansion down at the 9 o'clock position. I'm not exactly certain how I feel about that. That's a really dangerous position to be in, especially against a Zerg opponent. I probably would have worked, instead of throwing those Zealots over at the Ultralisk, worked a little bit more at trying to get this high yield expansion down. But maybe her idea was push in with the Zealots, keep some pressure on while I try and expand. I might have waited a little bit longer, though, because this is going to be a very, very vulnerable expansion that Shaka's just going to be able to run in and do some damage to and run right back out every time he wants.
That's very true, and it's going to be very hard. There's a very big distance between the 2 active expansions that Kissing's going to have to try to defend. I mean, you have to come over here to this top left, and if he decides to move a force down here, if she has her army up here, that is a long, long run, and he's going to be able to do a lot of damage before she can get her forces over there. But it looks like she is moving out to take that leftmost Xel'Naga tower.
Looks like Kissing's pushing in a little bit with a large Zealot force to try and take out that high yield expansion. It gets them surrounded, but she is letting her Templars got surrounded by the Speeders. Got come down. Both of the Speeders are now making quick work of all the Zealots. And I think that was definitely either a misclick or just a bad move on Kissing's part. She let her Templars get sniped down by the Zerglings because her Zealots weren't there to protect them.
That's very true, and I really like her idea of trying to snipe this out, but you've got to take care of the defending force before you go for the hatch snipe. Her army was so out of position that it was pretty one-sided. And actually, there's the GG by Kissing after Shaka found that hidden base. So Shaka is going to win this one. Thanks a lot for co-casting with me, Red.
No problem.
And we look forward to you guys subscribing to our channel and checking out our website at www.relentlessheroes.com. We are accepting applications, so make sure that you apply. We're looking for a few good men. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good night, guys.